Studio 110.live back at it. A overcast, rainy, kind of a dreary day over here in downtown Bellevue. It's nice to be back on the radio. It was a good weekend. I want a big shout out to my sister Samantha and brother-in-law Matt. Came out from New York City. They joined the show Friday afternoon. I know they're listening right now. I think they're on their way up to Boeing to tour the Boeing plant. So I hope you guys have a good tour up there. I decided to make my producer today my co-host for the next half hour. So I haven't really given you the. I mean, I've talked about you a lot, Eric, on the show, but I haven't really given you the proper introduction on there. It's been a lot of off the mic. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my producer and right hand, Erica. She handles a lot of the everything kind of behind the scenes here, from my calendar to scheduling, to just keeping me organized. So thanks again to Erica here. I appreciate all the hard work that you do on the show. You want to say a quick hello here?
Hello, everybody. It's so awesome to be on air finally.
It is nice, and you know, Erica, how punctual I am about on time.
Yes,
you know
absolutely.
You know that if it's up to me, I wanted to sign on at 12:58. Today we came on at 1:02. We had some technical problems, but you know what? I'm actually not upset. And you want to know why I'm not upset?
Why is
not
that?
upset because this proves and signifies that we're a live show.
Yes.
So many shows today are pre-recorded. You don't know if they're live in the studio. You don't know if they're pre-tracked. This is a live show. So, us being a live show, there are going to be some technical problems. I mean, you and I watch TV, sometimes there's little glitches that, need to be cleared up. So, with that being said, I want to give a couple shout outs once again to my Friday guests on the big show. Uncle Ike, the man himself, Ian, stopped by the show. We had a big old Uncle Ike's segment here on the show. It was great. We talked about the glass side of the business, the car wash. We're going to try to get some bud tenders coming up here to talk about some new products they're unveiling on the shelf at Uncle Ike's. So shout out to Bobby and shout out to Ian and shout out to Justin, that whole crew there. I appreciate that. Who else did we have on the show on Friday? We had, of course, my sister and brother-in-law.
Which were awesome. They were so cool.
They were great. You and my sister actually remind, you guys are alike. You guys kind of, have that bubbly personality that when you both walk in the room, you guys light up the room. So shout out to you.
She's a sweetheart.
So
She's
maybe you two need to be, texting more or whatever on the side to, figure out what's the recipe to have that bubbly personality when you walk into a room. Who else did we have on the show? We had Eugene and Yulia on
Yes.
Friday as well. Yep, and
phenomenal designers.
Looking forward to having them back in the studio. It's always fascinating to talk to Yulia just about the fashion platform that she's on. She's a professor and she's got her master's in fashion at the Art Institute of Seattle. Shout out to all the students down there that are listening. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. And let's kick it off. So today you're telling me that we got some great guests.
You forgot about Zach. We also had Zach from Z-Wing Films and Z-Wing Rally as well on.
That's why I need you as my right hand to help me, because Friday to Monday, when we have busy weekends and we have
back-to-back guests. Yeah,
absolutely. So shout out to Zach, and appreciate Zach, coming in and illustrating everything on his social. It sounds like we're going to have Zach back in this week.
Oh, absolutely. Good. We are definitely having him back. And, last time he was on, he kind of introduced his rally. Now he's going to be giving full disclosure information about it. So that'll be really exciting to get him back in and be talking about that rally and get everybody pumped up for it and signed up. So. And
I have some friends out here that have like some of the cars that he's looking at, like some Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and those types of cars. So maybe I'll have to, I always like to, return the favor in any way I can. So maybe I'll have to introduce him to a couple of my personal friends and get the numbers lifted up a little bit for this upcoming Z-Wing rally, right?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to go to that rally.
Are you going to be driving one of the cars? Or going to be featured in one of the cars?
I was thinking, I'm trying to find a friend who has the kind of the, requirements for the vehicle and stuff like that for the standards. Because, that's the exotic cars. It's only exotic cars.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure it out, but I think it would be awesome if we could go live from there.
You know what I think would be even cooler than that? It's highly illegal. So
let's hear it.
Sometimes I like to live my life a little bit on the edge.
Hey, you gotta.
You got it. But how cool would it be to have Erica, my producer of the show here, holding up a big banner that says Studio 110.live with your head coming out of one of the moon roofs on one of these cars. So as you're going up and down I-5,
so
like Seafair, you know, how the Seafair, you know, queens wave the flags, you know, Studio 110.live, Dirty Harry's new show. I mean, you know, companies pay tens of thousands of dollars to have their logos, you know, placed on these vehicles and you know, the shuttle expresses. This would be free.
Oh my gosh, I have the greatest idea.
Let me hear it.
What if we did that? We went live from Studio 110, and then we actually had, tell me how cool this is. I have an idea. Yeah. We get like a canvas, and we actually have artists who will like basically paint or even like just draw Studio 110 and make it like an art piece.
And my model face.
Yeah, and we can even put your face in there too, and then we could represent like, oh my gosh, this is all local community. Everybody put this together, and then we're representing it. How cool would that be?
I think Studio 110, and I'm sure Zach is listening right now, needs Zach. to have the highest platform imaginary at Z-Wing Rally. We're gonna, as this show, as my show, we're gonna get behind it fully. We're going to get it behind it fully, but it would be nice if we could, and I'm being serious, it would be nice if we could get Zach to commit to maybe you and some of your other model girlfriends to completely, fully embrace Studio 110.live, because I think, you know what? I think it'd be a great tie-in.
And it's a great platform for him to build his company and kind of promote. And, you know, obviously everybody loves being in the studio. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. How does it, now, is this officially your first time on the radio?
Yes, it is.
So talk about the experience. You've been on right now for 7 minutes. Tell me about the experience.
So, you know, I honestly am not a shy person.
You're not.
But it's so fun. I love it. I get to be, you know, I'm on air, so I get to say what's on my mind. Obviously, you know, you're very talented. This is like your gift. So
Thank you.
Feel very comfortable. It's just really chill. Everybody listening, shout out to Harris for being so talented, and it's awesome to have him back on air.
Thank you very much. Any shout outs you want to give him? And you have like a whole plethora. Your human Rolodex is the size of from here to Mill Creek.
Oh my gosh.
So do you want anybody that you just want to shout out just randomly right now? I'm sure Taya's listening right now. She's coming in tomorrow to make that big, huge, major announcement on this show.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Tomorrow, I don't want to, we have another big surprise on tomorrow's show, but we're going to keep that unveiled. I don't want to unleash anything until tomorrow. That's how you keep the audience in check.
That is how you do it.
So that's what we do. But let's talk about who we got today. So we got Maureen.
Yes.
She's a former TV news anchor.
Yes, she is.
Locally here?
Yes, she is local. She worked for ABC and then also Fox. So she's definitely got a background in that. Also, she represents the U.S. pageantry kind of like, you know, the whole category of the women down there. And so we have Miss Washington USA coming in, and that's why Maureen will be in, because she'll be speaking on behalf of Miss Washington USA.
Oh, so she's going to kind of open up that door.
She's going to open that, yeah.
Great, okay, and then at 2:30 we have Eugene and Capon.
Yes.
And apparently Capon and, what's Capone's buddy's name?
Topher.
Topher.
You guys go way back,
He says we go way back. As soon as I see his face, it'll come to me, but I'm just, you know, I'm an honest guy, and I can't visualize the face at this exact moment. But this is what I want to do. I love talking about breaking music news stories. So stay with me. And are you a fan of Cardi B?
Oh, yeah. Who isn't a fan of Cardi B? They've got all these different memes and everything, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, yo, Cardi B is like everything. And I'm like, you know, I like her music. It's great. But I've heard it so much that I'm like, it's like stuck in my head to the point where I'm like, of course you have to love Cardi B.
Well, there you go. So I'm going to talk about this story, and then I want to talk to you about it. So Cardi B just came out a few minutes ago. I have a couple of these exclusive show prep services that I get I get the niche. I get kind of that winning effect on these local, national music news stories. So Cardi B concedes the internet and remains undefeated. So let's talk about what she came out and said here today on the big show, Studio 110.live. Dirty Harry's new show, along with my producer, my right hand, Erica, my co-host here.
Hello.
Thanks for joining. So Cardi B is experiencing the painful, awful truth about the internet and remains undefeated. She says the hip-hop newcomer has hit up some social media to express her own frustrations with trying to silence her critics. She says, this is her quote, "I don't understand how people harass me to say something. Then when I say something, I get dragged through the mud for doing so. It's no winning with miserable people that just want to, disrupt and with distractions on other people's life just to bring other people down." And then she goes on to say, people are so miserable. They're hurting so much inside. They have to kind of, release those inner tensions by bringing someone else down because they're already down. They rather believe just a lie to talk about something else. You will soon, though, she says with 2 smiley faces. And then she says, you know what? She'd rather believe the people at her camp because the other people in other camps that are ultimately trying to bring Cardi B down, she says, it's entertaining to her. And that kind of almost reminds me of a quote that I know you've heard me mention a few times on the show. Jay-Z told me a quote, a few years back, and he said, Dirty Harry, you're doing something wrong if they're not talking about you. So would you agree that kind of relates to this story a little bit? She finds it entertaining that, that the critics and people in other camps, with her success, with her airplay going on an international level, with the amount of money she's making right now on shows, with the tour coming up, with Bruno Mars. I mean, she sees it. She sees it. And I think, I'm waiting, I'm looking forward to hearing the next story that comes out because I think Nicki Minaj is going to come out on a different platform because, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, they're kind of right at it.
Similar kind of,
They're similar. They're right at it. So I'll be interesting to hear who continues to put a couple lines out in other camps in the hip hop business. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. I got a couple shout outs I want to give. I want to give a big shout out to DJ Nasty Ness. I want to give a shout out to Jason and Jamal from the High Children. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Brandon up in Shoreline. I got so many shout outs. I'm sorry, my buddy Levy, my buddy Daniel, my buddy Danny, Naomi and the whole crew in Renton. I appreciate you all listening. And that was kind of a cue now to you.
Okay, perfect. I was like, wait, you never let me give my shout out.
Well, I offered you the platform before I talked about Cardi B. So hopefully when I was talking about Cardi B, that gave you a list of 55 people.
Oh, I've got a list of a lot of people shout outs. Okay, so I also do a lot of club promoting and I'm also an MMA ring girl for Koga Sports. So shout out to Emerald Queen Casino because you guys are awesome and your support has been amazing. And, honestly, Rob down at Emerald Down Casino as well. He's actually going to be a guest on here, but he was watching right now. And then we've got, obviously, my people down at Trinity. I've been promoting for them for a while.
Guy Godfrey?
Godfrey.
Godfrey. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just call him Guy. Sorry.
I call him Guy Godfrey too because I'm like,
sorry, Guy.
You're awesome, Guy. Like, how are you not like Guy Godfrey?
I didn't mean to butcher his last name, so sorry about that. Yeah, and also Steven up there on Capitol Hill from Numos and Barboza and Mobar, listening to the big show as well. So continue with your...
And then also Coda. So down at Coda at Q Nightclub, my friend B-Gun, he runs Coda events. So they're awesome down there. And they're actually going to be guests down here too. So we're going to be definitely seeing them in the studio and hearing what's going on with that.
And I'm hearing, I'm not going to give any details away right now because a lot of things are still being polished up, but real close to being polished up. Like we got some giveaways coming up.
Yeah.
We got some big festival giveaways coming up. We got some, we got a lot of big guests, a lot of stars, a lot of fashion people. I have a friend of mine. She's a large fashion stylist out of Los Angeles, and she heard about my show. I had an opportunity to meet her at Shaquille O'Neal's birthday party a couple weeks back in Los Angeles through Bill Bellamy.
Okay.
And she said, she's been listening to the show in Los Angeles. She's a fan of the show, and she's taken it upon herself to purchase an airline ticket, and she's flying up here for a couple days, like and she'll be joining the show. So most shows, like you probably can imagine, Erica, it takes a while for the platforms to continue to be built.
Absolutely.
Look, and we're still doing that. I mean, we're doing that, but we're getting through the proper layers that we need to be getting through every day. And now we have people from California and out of state flying up here to join the show.
Well, you just talked about it last week, actually. You were like, you can't build a skyscraper overnight, which is so true. Like, success doesn't just come like that.
Absolutely. But you can see what we've already built in just over a week. I mean,
well, we've had, some really big progression plans that we're not going to talk about on air because, that's kind of a surprise because, your quote is expect the unexpected.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
You got to stay tuned in to know about that.
And I want to also shout you out. I see your hard work throughout the weekend, in the middle of the night, all the hard work you're doing. You're handling the social networking. I'm seeing the numbers go up. I'm seeing the comments. I'm seeing the shares. And, I couldn't be happier. So I appreciate that. And we're, like I said,
teamwork.
But, our social networking is really growing nicely.
Yeah, it is. I mean, considering, it's only been active not that long, I would say it definitely helps to have the guests that we've had, because that's huge, the exposure for them. And then obviously, with your background and you being, on air with Cube 93.3 for 19 years,
Yep.
Obviously you've got your fans already following and people already want you back. And it's kind of funny because every single person that we've talked to, you guys, literally is like, what up, Harry? Like, Dirty Harry, how are you? I'm like, wow, that's crazy that you maintain these contacts. Like, they're literally like best friends you haven't talked to in a while. I'm like, that is true talent and true respect, because if you can maintain relationships with people like that, then, people see your potential and they just want to support you endlessly. So,
thank you, Erica. Thank you. And I'm sure in the industry that you've been in, you've seen people make stupid, dumb, naive decisions where they burn bridges.
Oh, absolutely.
And tell me one good benefit in the music business or in fashion or whatever business that you're in of burning a bridge. I can't think of any.
Honestly, the worst thing you can do is burn bridges, because you never know what could be on the other side of that bridge. You never know what's on the other side. And not just that, but it's always good. Like, the one thing I really, really appreciate about you is you're so genuine and respectful, and you're driven, obviously, but you just have a constant outlook of just, wow, I can do whatever, and you've got this just like fire built up inside of you. It's like, wow, radio is like, obviously, not just your talent and your passion, but dang, like you're dang good at it.
I appreciate that.
And I'm just saying like the truth here.
And I appreciate that. Coming from you, that means a lot. And I'll tell you a little secret. There's a lot of radio hosts, there's a lot of talents out there that show up to the studio an hour before their show.
Yeah.
I go on the radio at 1 o'clock. I'm here about 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you are.
I'm here at 8:30 in the morning. I'm here preparing because you know what? I want to have the best radio show that I can have. And you saw with Sir Mix-a-Lot when he was here on the first day, co-hosting the show with me. You heard him outright. He says, you know what? I don't. Yeah, not only since day one, but he says I don't come in and do shows.
Yeah,
I don't come in and do shows. So you can see the relationship in the video that you shared. Just had me and the family here rolling over the weekend. Where he said, Dirty Harry invited me in and he asked me to sweep the floors.
That's hilarious. I loved that.
And he asked me to mop the floors, and he didn't get a penny from coming in. But then he did a 360 transition, and then he said, you know what? I'll do anything for Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry asked for something, I'll do anything. And that's just the beginning staple of where this show is headed in terms of actresses, in terms of major players in the record community in LA and New York. Local artists. Shout out to my guy Marquis, Jason and Jamal from the High Children. We got a lot of people coming up. The show is going to have the platform like nothing else here in the city where we broadcast from. But since we're a national show and soon to be international show, it's growing where we absolutely need it to grow, and I couldn't be more excited.
I'm so excited too. I get to be a part of this, and definitely, everything that we're putting into this and all of the hard work. Like, you guys, it is not easy to have a successful, show. And I thank gosh you are so talented, because I swear I'd probably be sitting in the studio like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how much I need to edit, but you're just so talented. Your flow is so smooth. You know what to do. You know how to talk. Like,
thank you.
You're very real, genuine. Like, every single person, you guys, every single person that came in here is like, wow, that was just so much fun. They never want to leave. Nobody ever wants to leave the studio because they have so much fun.
I know Taya's like a huge model and stuff.
Yeah.
She's got photo shoots to go to. She's got engagement. She's got speaking things. And she didn't want to leave the studio.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of people. Brianne didn't want to leave the studio. It's like
so fun.
It's like a fun environment. People hate their jobs. They hate their bosses. And you know what? Maybe this will be a new, inner stress relief for people.
Yeah.
People can come here and, maybe we'll have a new segment. And
de-stress.
The de-escalation of not liking your boss or not liking your job. Maybe that'll be a new segment where people can call in. They can, and you and I can play psychiatrist.
Oh,
we can walk them through their misery that they're experiencing at their jobs. Talk about you when you're not in here, and this is definitely a full-time job. But on the weekends when you're not, editing and working so hard, you're a ring girl. So talk about just some of the different opportunities that have presented themselves to you and some of the appearances that you've been at in the past?
So it's kind of funny, actually. A lot of people ask me, like, how did you get into a position like that? Because I don't actually have, before that, I never had experience being a ring girl. I actually have a really good friend who you've already met, and he's one of my best friends, Mr. Washington.
Yeah, yep. Shout out to Mr. Washington.
Mr. Washington, you're amazing, because I actually went on a commercial that he basically, how do I say that?
Auditioned for?
Yeah, I sort of, but I already got the role because I had sent in all the information and did my portfolio.
So he opened the door ultimately?
Yes, he opened the door.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So I went on this commercial, and it was at the CenturyLink Field. It was a Seahawks commercial for Nike. And I went on and I was like, wow, this is amazing, because it was just like everything was just empty, but it was beautiful because we had like all these different lights going on, and it was like a new exclusive line that Nike was doing specifically for the Seahawks. And I remember getting there, and I actually had a boyfriend at the time, and I like brought him, and he was like, wow, this is so cool. But because of that connection, when we were waiting in the back, we were like sitting on a table, and there was this girl across from me. She was super sweet. We were like talking, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're so bubbly and you're so fun. Like, do you want to be a promo model? I was like, sure, why not? That sounds fun. So my first event ever, I was a ring girl at the Edmonds Community College, and it was just an amateur fight. And I was like, okay, this seems cool. So I went in, and like one of the girls that was with me, she actually was the head MMA girl that works with all of the other girls.
Gotcha.
So she was like big, and the reason she was there is because one of the girls actually couldn't make it. So she had to just fill in, and it just happened to be that way.
There you go.
So we started talking, and she's like, oh my gosh, like I want you to work for me more. Let's get you like definitely in here, and I want you to be at more fights. So that's where it just kicked off from there. And I was like, wow, this is so much fun. I love being and it keeps me in shape. Honestly, that's another thing.
And what's the most amount of people that you've been in a ring for as a ring girl in terms of the audience, in terms of people there in arenas?
I would probably say, man, so Emerald Queen Casino is big, but I would say Snoqualmie Casino, their fights get pretty packed depending on who is playing. Not who's playing. Oh my gosh, you guys. Not who is playing.
That's right. So I can imagine it's kind of like when I watch Floyd. When I watch Floyd, in the ring in Las Vegas, there's ring girls that come in,
Yep.
So same type of principle, same type of effect.
Exactly.
Well,
and
hopefully you're not that far away from being one of Floyd Mayweather's ring girls. Pierre here at our office here at Studio 110, one of our guys here on the entertainment division that handles a lot of the routine here as well in the office, has a personal relationship with him. So he'll be a guest.
Oh.
He'll be a guest coming up on the show as well. So I'm looking forward to that. But you've done a lot. And then you also, you've got your own business. You create costumes.
Yes, I'm a costume designer, and I have a graphic line that will be launching actually this summer. Last summer it was supposed to launch, but I was dealing with copyright issues for music.
Okay.
The song I wanted was like $10,000. I was like, not happening. I'm not paying $10,000 for one song.
Right.
So
will we be able to unveil your new costume line on this show?
Oh, absolutely. And you guys, I'll do some giveaways from
let's
custom
do some
things.
giveaways.
Oh, I would love that. That would be great.
And you have a lot of pretty girlfriends, so maybe we can get all 85 of them to promote it on their social and their Instagram.
Oh, yes,
and they
absolutely.
can come in and we can have like a little fashion show here in the studio.
I'm also going to be doing a launch party, and
on the show.
Well, actually, it's down at Elliott Bay, so
maybe we'll take the show down there. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
take the show down there and do a live broadcast from there, and we'll invite a lot of people out.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. It'd be super fun.
Let's do that. And what else are you working on?
So I have the costume company, and that's definitely being pushed forward because summer's around the corner, need to get that going. And a lot of people already have kind of specific orders that they want requested in. So besides being an MMA ring girl, I also promote for like Coors and Heineken and doing these different events. And then also on top of that, I took a break off school because this quarter I was like, okay, got to slow down a little bit.
Studio 110 needs your full undivided attention.
Yes, which I 100% love, you guys. I freaking love my job. Just saying.
And she's not just saying that. Believe me, I didn't call her on the way into the studio today saying, Erica, this is going to be a scripted interview, and everything that I'm texting you has to be said. I did not even talk to her.
No.
She showed up a couple hours ago at work and said, you know what, I'm super excited for the show today. I'm super excited for this week's shows. And I said, you know, let's get on the field and get this thing kicked off. So speaking of your costumes, you made like these Chanel almost life-size bottles at one of our Studio 110's party functions here at our headquarters. I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And they were really impressive.
Thank you.
And I asked you like the turnaround time to be able to construct one of these things.
Yes.
And I think you said you can make one. And it was like you have that niche. You have that art to be able to, did you have a team or is this just you?
So actually, it's kind of funny. I actually love building props. Like ever since I was a kid, I've always tried to create like crazy things. And like, I've just been I grew up with a very artistic family. Like my mom's side of the family, they are all entrepreneurs that are very crafty. Like they have their own companies. And like my aunt builds like these crazy, like, I want to almost say like skyscraper pieces of metal, and she actually like goes around and the artists and stuff like that have them in their shows, and just beautiful art made out of like giant metal sculptures. And so ever since I was a kid, I've always been really crafty and just making crazy things. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make some crazy, giant perfume bottles and stuff. So maybe we'll even do a giveaway with one of them. I'll make you guys a custom.
I think we should do some custom giveaways. And I think there's still some space here in my studio here where we can get some custom, maybe like some custom microphones, or just like, you're a pro. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to kick off your props,
that idea.
But I think we have enough space here in the studio to
decorate it up and make it all.
Decorate it up, absolutely.
Okay, I actually really like that.
Is our first guest outside of the studio, or does she still need a little bit of time, Maureen? If she needs a little bit of more time, there's still plenty of things to talk about before our guests channel in today for the big show today. I also want to give once again Taya coming in tomorrow, making a major announcement, and then we also have a big celebrity. I'm just going to say we have a big celebrity coming in the show tomorrow that is making quite a bit of noise. I'm not going to give any other details out, but this is a big celebrity coming on the show tomorrow. Erica, I think that celebrity's coming in at 1:30, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
1:30. So we'll have a big, huge show tomorrow. Does Maureen, our next guest, still need some time?
Actually, she's outside, so I'm gonna go grab her.
Let's go get Maureen. Thank you very much.
Okay, of course. You guys, thank you for having me. It was a great time.
Great having you on. Maybe I'll still keep you in the. Maybe you'll still stay in the chair with us throughout the show today, or you can move over to your desk over here. But let's get Maureen, and in the meantime, I'll talk about a couple other fun things that happened around the town this weekend. It's very nice. Like I said earlier today, it's always nice to have family in town.
Yeah.
Always nice to have family in town, especially when you don't see them that often. And we had a fun little get together last night because it's my brother-in-law is a doctor, and he him and I were talking over the weekend. He said, let me pitch you an idea. And I'm all about people pitching me ideas. I've got my buddy Justin pitching me an idea right now to do a news segment. So I'm going to be kind of having more conversations with him to see if I like the way that kind of shapes up, because I don't want to get too deep with the show. I want it to be more of an entertainment-based show. But my brother-in-law. Excuse me, my brother-in-law.
Be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Erica. My brother-in-law pitched me an idea about doing a medical segment on the show, where his specialty is pain. So a lot of people are affected by pain and medicine, and I think it would be a good opportunity to be able to have people call in. And how often can you get free advice from a doctor? Everybody knows today you go to the doctor. That's why so many people are in fear of going to the doctor, because they'll get a $900 bill for talking to the doctor for 20 minutes, depending on your insurance coverage. But it's not a pleasant thing. So I figured, you know what, I'm all about helping my listeners out. I'm all about developing those types of inner pathways to be able to create new things that aren't happening right now. In definitely on live podcast shows, but on this type of live podcast show. So I think my brother-in-law is listening. I'm looking forward to creating this new medical segment with you on the show. Coming up, making her way into the studio, we got Maureen. She's a former TV news anchor with Fox and ABC. Be interesting to talk to her just kind of where TV is at right now, like the shows that people are watching, her opinions, and TV is rated every day. So, coming from a radio background, our ratings were rated once a week. So if you can imagine just kind of the process and just the whole runabout of making sure your network and your programming is just absolutely in check, and it's tough. TV's a completely different business. My sister worked in it for a while, so I'm looking forward to speaking to her just about where TV is and where TV needs to go. And then she'll be opening up the door for Miss Washington USA. That'll be at 2 o'clock. And then, of course, Eugene Capon and Topher, that'll be at 2:30. Tomorrow we got a massive show. Wednesday we have another massive show. So we got some big shows coming up. So Mix-a-Lot listening to us, embarking on a 47-city tour. Shout out to Sir Mix-a-Lot. Shout out to my boy Izzy in New York. Looking forward to him joining in the studio on the show, talking about everything going on in the record community, within all the record companies, the new artists that are being signed. He's going to be hopefully giving me the new Kanye West song to play before anyone else in this city plays. And speaking of exclusives, I also want to shout out my boy Huey P. Huey P and Taj listening right now. They were on the show last week. Gave me an opportunity to play their brand new song. His first song did over 1 million on World Star Hip Hop. So you know what? The traction is out there, and I couldn't be happier to be able to open up my show to a lot of these artists, to be able to come in, give me the exclusive opportunity to play their song before anyone else. Because you know what? It's all about live shows. It's all about live podcasts, and that's what it is about. Coming up later in the show, I'm going to try to get to some of these other music news stories. Meek Mill's mom opens up an exclusive letter and pleads for her son's freedom. We're going to try to talk about what Meek Mill's mom said about her son, Meek Mill. Rick Ross actually gave us an update. Rick Ross, I'm sure everybody knows and is aware. He was through a pretty gigantic health scare in a Miami hospital a couple weeks back. He was on life support. He completely came out of it. So big shout out to Rick Ross for making a unbelievable 360 life comeback. It would have been terrible. Would have been horrible. Would have been a huge tragic to lose Rick Ross. And my boy Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's got some things in the works, but you know what? It's all about teasers in radio. If you give all the details out right now, you want to keep the audience there. So my apologies. I'm going to try my best to get to these stories. I got a busy show, but I will touch a little bit on the Snoop Dogg story because Snoop Dogg is my guy. Like I don't think there's a better live show to be at than being at a live Snoop Dogg concert. Snoop Dogg is talking about coming out not only with a new album, but the new album may also translate to a possible TV show. Now, it won't be his first. He's done a lot of TV in the past, but what I'm excited about with Snoop is I hope he brings back his clothing brand. He had this Snoop Dogg clothing brand that had these really cool velour tracksuits, and he had these really cool jackets, and I hope he kind of reinvents and rebrands the image of his clothing brand and comes back because it did well. I think it just needs a little bit of rebranding coming from Big Snoop Dogg, and I'm excited about this new album that I'm hearing through the grapevine that might be coming out with possible TV deal there in the works as well. So big shout out to Snoop Dogg. He will be a guest coming up. Also, his producer DJ Battlecat. I feel Battlecat is the best beat maker, production guy in the business. I always tell, Andy Stokes, who was in here on my first show with Sir Mix-a-Lot, I told his manager, Dub B, I said, you've got to have your artists go in the studio, go in the lab with DJ Battlecat. Battlecat right now is not only working on upcoming tracks for Dr. Dre's new album, he'll be a guest on the show. He may actually fly up to join me here in the studio. And, for people that come in the studio, have an opportunity to come in the studio, you can see I have a picture of Battlecat looking at me right here and one of my wall pieces of art, DJ Battlecat. So many people to shout out. If I missed a few people here and there, I apologize. But you know what? There's no relay race here. I'm on every day, 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time, Studio110.live, and shouting out all my friends. I'm seeing you guys share the posts and on Instagram, on Facebook. I really, really, really appreciate everybody that's reached out and that's expressed their their gratitude that I'm back on the air. And I know there's a couple of people, in the old name of the game, in the old radio broadcasting arenas that, that might be a little bit nervous, and there's no reason to be nervous that I've returned back. We all just have to we all have to stay on our wheel well and be brilliant at the basics and be really good at what we do. And there's never a reason to be concerned. I mean, yeah, I've got a lot of surprises up my sleeve, and I'm very competitive, and I've got a lot of big things coming up on the show. But you know what? I wish all the other guys in the business all the best, and you do what you do, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So I don't burn bridges, and I try to keep all my relationships to the best of my ability, and I think that's very important. I think that's very proper in the music business. All right, making our way into the studio, hopefully here soon, Maureen, a former TV news anchor. Hopefully she'll be walking in any moment now, and until then, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to us on Facebook. You can reach out to us on YouTube. You can reach out to us at studio110.live. If you're an artist that's got a hot song out there right now that you want to get some airplay on, let me check it out. Let me listen to it, and if I feel it's good enough for air presentation for everybody to listen, I'll play it. That's the type of guy that I am. I don't like to say too many no's, but I'm not afraid to say no. So if there's people out there that have projects out there. I know a lot of people have been reaching out. It would definitely I would definitely show you the gratitude and the love to play your song like I did for Huey P. And Sir Mix-a-Lot's new female artist is going to be coming in. There's a lot of local music. Shout out to my guy Marquis. Shout out to the High Children, Jason and Jamal. We got a lot of exciting things coming up on the big show, Studio 110.live. I'm trying to pull up this Meek Mill story. Meek Mill's been in music news quite a bit recently. He's unfortunately been going through the justice system quite a bit. Everybody's kind of got their different opinions on it. I feel bad for the guy. I hope he has an opportunity to fix what he needs to fix and get out there. But let's talk about Kathy Williams. Meek Mill's mom came out and had this to say. She says, "The problem is that the justice system has failed my son at every turn and hasn't let go. You, Lady Justice, haven't allowed corruption at the highest levels of the system, and cruelty and spite have cast doubt on your very foundation. You are supposed to balance fairness and blindly always do what's right. Yet injustice has taken 11 years of our lives. My son had to choose between seeing his child and his mother in a hospital or going to prison. My son, who was 19 when he was introduced to the justice system, has been scared physically and emotionally by your betrayal, and now you threaten his own son's sense of security. Today feels heavier because now that the truth has finally been revealed, for some reason, Lady Justice, you are not weighing in. Where are you?" she asks. The district attorney and Governor Wolf had the courage to say, "Let my son out of prison due to this injustice. You've taken his innocence and abused his pride. He suffered loss of family and freedom. No human being should know his truths and be accosted by lies and false judgment under your shelter." That's Billboard magazine sat down with Meek Mill's mom. And like any mom, I'm sure any mom would be vouching and have her son's back to the fullest. So hopefully, he'll clean up when he needs to clean up and get out of the justice system and get back in the studio and start making some hits. She continues to go on and talk about some other unjust punishment going on with her son. I will try to get to that in a little while. I've got my next in-studio guests. They made their way up to the studio. I appreciate you guys coming in. I've got Maureen here in the studio, and I also got Miss Washington, USA. If you guys want to just put headphones on and get as close to the microphones as you can. These are for bringing in Miss Washington today.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you, and talk about why you guys are here, and let everybody know what everybody needs to know, and then I'll do my job.
Okay, well, we just wrapped up the first ever international award show celebrating the pageant community called the Global Beauty Award Show. And we have Miss USA kicking off in several weeks. And Abigail will be throwing out the first pitch at the Mariners event on April 18th. So we got a lot of activities going on.
Are you've been practicing on the weekends, throwing out? You got someone holding a mitt, and you have the hard ball, and making sure that it's just like other players in the Mariners organization. They may want to recruit you. You never know.
Yeah, I mean.
Let's get a little closer here to the mic, and we just have to talk kind of straight into it. Maybe Erica, you can position that, just scoot it down towards her face a little bit more. There we go. And Maureen, I've been told through my producer Erica that you have a TV background.
Yes, I spent 5 years in television. I worked in Yakima, Washington, Savannah, Georgia, Flint, Michigan. Have you been to Flint, Michigan?
I've flown over it several times, but I've never been there. So.
You're not missing much.
I'm not.
There's so many potholes and homes burned down, and then made my way to Seattle, Washington. I was working at Northwest Cable News for about 6 months, and then I got recruited into a startup company called House Values. Do you remember that? It was before Zillow's time. Okay. And now I am in this realm of beauty pageants.
And talk about just the background of being on the news. Like, I mean, I was in radio, so I was on the radio side of this for 19 years at a radio station called Cube 93 here in Seattle. I was there for 19 years. I did primarily the afternoon show, weekdays 3 to 7. But one thing that I always found very interesting is, coming from radio is rated once a week, but TV, I'm sure as you remember, is usually rated every day. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but so the constant grind to be elevating all levels of programming and being brilliant at the basics is definitely a lot more stressful coming from TV than it is radio, correct?
It was so tough because our producer only cared if we filled that black hole. If we had a lead story at 11 o'clock, regardless if I was able to get the interview or not, I had to fill that black hole. So when I was in Flint, I did a lot of crime stories, and it's not fun knocking on someone's door at 10 p.m. going, "Oh, I know you're a sex offender. Would you mind doing an on-camera interview?" I mean, it's really tough. And then,
did you have bodyguards at the police just standing on the left or right side of the porch, making sure you're okay, or did the news station just send you out, just go and knock on a sex offender's door and just pray for yourself?
No, I had to go by myself, and as you can tell, I'm not very tall. I'm barely 5 feet tall. So
there wasn't enough in the budget to be able to send security with you to make sure that you were safe and sound and got home to your personal residence?
No, you know how it is in news. It's a very lean budget, so you got to do it all. I mean,
well, you had a cameraman there, so he was there to back you on top of holding a 80-pound camera, right?
So I did have a camera person, but I had to knock first on that door, and if I could get the interview, then the station would send the camera person.
And how often did you have to go and knock on these douchebags' doors?
You know what? I had to do hard news every night.
Every night.
It was.
So were you a reporter, or both anchor and reporter, or what?
In Yakima, I was a weekend anchor and reporter. In Flint, Michigan, I was the reporter. I was the lead story reporter. And when you're working at a third place station, you need to do innovative things to help with ratings. So 1 month, we decided to do makeovers. And I had surgery live on the air. I had LASIK eye surgery live on the air. And if I sneeze, I would be blind, okay? So here I am telling the viewers at home, I'm getting LASIK eye surgery live on the air. I'm describing the procedure. And then when I was done, I would talk to the viewer saying, "Oh, it's a little bit blurry still, but I know in 3 days I'll be able to see clearly." And we did innovative stories like that. I even had my brows done live on the air, again, just to get ratings up. And that's what you have to do. You have to be very innovative.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do that a bunch in radio. The couple things that I opted out of was the Washington State Patrol would come in, and a couple times they'd want to get us prior radio hosts drunk to talk about what it's like to be drunk on the radio. And I always let other staff members do that, because I personally didn't find anything enjoyable about being drunk and conducting the number one radio show in the city, where drive time 5 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody's listening. I didn't really do a lot for me, so I let the other guys make a fool out of themselves, and it was a whole thing. They got arrested and they got taken down to the King County Jail here across the the water here in Seattle. They got the brown bag. They got went through the whole booking process, and I said, you know what? You guys do that, and then you guys take some really good notes in your brain, and then we'll come back and we'll have a good interview and we'll talk about how that whole process was. So they did a pretty good job with it. So there's a lot to talk about. I want to continue to talk about you, but I also want to talk about the reason Miss Washington USA here is in the studio. Do you follow baseball much, or is this going to kind of be your real introduction to being on the field at what's the name? Safeco Field. Safeco Field. Yep.
So I've never truly been into sports much. I do follow just a little bit. I understand the concept of the game. I have been to a few baseball games at Safeco Field, thanks to our wonderful partners, the Mariners, which we love to work really close with.
Yep.
But not the greatest at sports, but I'm learning. There's
Shout
always
out
room for
to Greg
improvement.
Green and Kevin Martinez down there at the field down there. I used to really have a lot of fun. I hosted the pregame shows. So Mariners TV would send their camera crews out, and they'd give me all these fun copy points, and I would host like the jumbo screen between innings. So like if you were having a horrible date on a Friday night and you just wanted to get out of the field, and it was the bottom of the fourth game and we were still playing the Yankees, you saw me dirty hair on the big screen, and hopefully I entertained people. So that was one of the fun moments, and they always gave me these great hats. I love wearing hats, so they gave me the new era customized fitted hats down at the baseball field. So that was always fun. And the Mariners are a great organization. I couldn't be happier that Ichiro has rejoined the squad. I think when he got traded, I think he left from here. I think he went to New York, if I'm not mistaken. But it's definitely good to have him back. So let's get into it. Miss Washington USA, how long have you officially had the crown?
So I was crowned at the beginning of November, so it's been about almost 6 months now.
Okay.
It's been a whirlwind of excitement and new adventure and traveling alone. I've traveled so many places just within the 6 months of holding the title, and it truly is such a blessing to be Miss Washington USA. There's so much more to come, and I really can't wait for Nationals Miss USA on May 21st in Shreveport, Louisiana. So yeah, it's a never-ending adventure. It really is.
Let's talk about where you've traveled. I'm sure internationally, domestically, where have been some of your favorite places to visit so far and represent the crown?
So I've just stayed within the nation here.
Okay.
I've been to New York, Texas, California, Idaho, Oregon, and Montana as well, because we have our sister title holders.
And out of all those places, what was your favorite? Montana? Did Montana beat New York, or?
No.
No,
I love New
I don't
York.
think so, yeah.
I love the city, but that's because
Who doesn't? Yeah.
I love Gossip Girl. I don't know if anybody else loves Gossip Girl, but
Erica, you like Gossip Girl? Is that your favorite TV show?
I was big time obsessed with it. Like
coming in here, I was like, I look like Blair Waldorf today. I really do. So yeah, I was channeling her a little bit.
Well,
this
what
morning.
is your advice to give to up and coming people that would like to be able to capture the dream and be able to have the what is the thing called the sash and the crown and represent Miss Washington like you have Miss Washington USA, excuse me. What would be that piece of advice that you would give? Because we have a lot of people listening and watching right now, and a lot of people they're nervous. They're nervous to be able to get out there, and they have insecurities and they think that they're not good enough. So I think for you to kind of take that platform and give that advice, that'd be cool to hear from you.
So a little fun fact, I was one of the youngest competitors within the Miss category when it was my first year, and so I was kind of like a rookie, if you want to put it in sports terms. I went in and had captured the title, but that was because I put so much work and just hard work into being Miss Washington USA. It started about a year prior. I had put my mind on winning. A year prior, a lot of appearances put in to my Miss Enumclaw USA title, which was the title I held before Miss Washington.
So you're not new at this. This is like your ninth go around.
Yeah, so I've been actually a pageant competitor since I was 9. My mom was a local title holder on the east side of Washington. She's really a big part of why I am where I am today. We worked hard. We come from very humble beginnings. She's pushed me to always achieve my dreams, and to be an advocate for young women as well. So I'm always pushing young women to compete in pageants, because with everything in our world today, I believe that we're one of the last few symbols of hope and strength and change. So,
and I'm sure you've seen everything. I'm sure you've talked to people that have like opened up to you that, you know, may not have family or may not have people that they can, relate to. So you are a celebrity in the sense that, and I've had to deal with this my whole career too, because, unfortunately there's people that don't have families and don't have the proper backbones to, have that proper communication with someone. So big props to you on that. Where is this headed? So what's the next launching pad for you to progress? And is it Miss World, or is it a big magazine photo shoot and like a Cosmopolitan or these other kind of popular magazines that you see at the grocery stores?
So after Miss USA, if I am blessed to hold the title of Miss USA, I would go on to Miss Universe, and that includes literally the universe. I mean, we have Miss Russia, Miss Iceland, Miss South Africa, which is our Miss Universe right now. She came from South Africa. But just a lot of promotional for the Miss Universe organization itself, and being the best title holder that I can be, while working with their platforms, Best Buddies, Smile Train, and we would work a lot with USO as well. So,
and what's been your most exciting element so far since you've been crowned Miss Washington? Miss Washington, I keep on saying Miss Washington. Well, in my opinion, it is Miss Washington, but we can't forget the USA, yes, embedded into there. So what's been your favorite experience so far? And, maybe it's a happy experience, maybe it's, kind of middle ground, or what would you say, since you've been crowned, that one experience that you just constantly think about?
I would have to say the New York trip. I'm actually going back next month. I loved it so much, I had to go back. The Beauty Brand Believe Expo Global Beauty Awards that Maureen was just talking about, that has been an amazing experience. Taking part in the first one ever was so special, and being the third Beauty Brand Believe Expo, it was my third time attending as well. And so, I mean, it's something you don't want to miss out on. It's so awesome, so inspirational, so many skills that you can pick up to achieve within the pageant community.
No problem.
Yeah.
What do you personally love about New York? Do you like the fashion? Do you like the nightlife? Do you like the restaurants, Times Square, just running in and out of subways, running late to things, being notorious for that? I mean, what do you personally like so much about New York?
I love...
Because I was born there, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I love the busyness of it. I think that's what gets me most, and that there's just always something going on, something to do. I do not like sleeping there, I will have to say. I love my sleep, and it's so loud. But
the fire trucks all night, with the sirens and the cabs. And,
yes, absolutely.
Because people really have it, they have to get to that bagel, or they have to get to that breakfast or whatever it is at 4 a.m. So the whole neighborhood needs to be woken up while they honk their horns.
Exactly. And so if I am to win Miss USA, I would be relocated to New York, and they put the title holders up in a beautiful apartment there. So really just going and saying, wow, this could be my future home is so awesome, and kind of just getting a feel for it.
Where do you think you'd want to live? Like, Soho, or around Times Square, or Upper West Side, or around Central Park, or where do you see yourself living the life?
I really don't know.
I'm going to say I think you're more kind of like in the
Upper East Side.
Upper East Side is a good area. Upper East Side's definitely a good area. But I could also see you're like you and probably the vibe that I've learned about you in 18 minutes here being more in like the Soho area. It's a very happening area. I think it's near it is near the meatpacking district, where a lot of like the fun restaurants and bars are. So this is probably going to be more of a question now for Maureen. But I've always been a very competitive person. I've always been, as a personality on the radio, and I have done TV as well, but we're talking radio now. If she is blessed with carrying on the tradition of becoming Miss, what's the next?
USA.
Miss USA. And you have to okay this, because you're the publicist. You're in charge of making these decisions. If it would be okay, and the decision doesn't need to be made right now, but maybe we can utilize my new show here to unveil a big announcement, and no one will obviously know, because we'll tease it. Like that's we do that in radio, a lot of teasers and stuff. But we can have Miss Washington USA come back in, get back on the microphone with me, and make that big announcement, and you guys can share it you guys can share it on your social. We can do some fun videos here. So it's just something to think about.
I think that would be great. And I want you all to know, how old do you think Abigail is? Just guess.
Oh, that's a tough question to ask a guy, because I was taught, my mother raised me in a way that Harris, you just never ask a woman how old she is.
Good words to live by.
Yeah, good words to live by. And I've done well for myself, thanks to my mom. So I don't feel comfortable actually answering that, but
Okay.
I mean I could, but I don't want to I could come out and say 21.
Yeah, let's.
Okay. I think you are 20.
I said 21.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's young.
Just turned
And to
20.
have
Just
such an
turned.
amazing experience. How many people get to throw out the first pitch at a Mariners game?
Very,
How many
very, very
people-
few.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many people get to do opportunities like this? Abigail has been interviewed on television, radio, you name it. I mean, she is getting to do so many things. And at 20, not many 20-year-olds get to do things like this.
Most 20-year-olds are probably, working in grocery stores or Nordstrom's or, whatever they're doing to, make ends meet, So most 20-year-olds don't have the blessing that you have,
really
thanks to
is.
you. And, like you were talking about your mom and how this is kind of a family tradition, how this is kind of elevated. And I'm sure your mom, is quite happy and proud to see her daughter in the light that you currently are. So
She says I'm one of her biggest successes.
well, yeah, I mean, like any mom should say that,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So have you asked the Mariners organization to make you a customized jersey? Because you've got all those fans out there, and as Miss Washington USA, you should be able to design the color. They should be working. They should be working 24 hours a day
Rhinestone
to
and
customize.
pink.
Hopefully,
Yes.
I haven't made Maureen, the publicist here, nervous with the idea. But I think, when she walks out on the field, and hopefully you'll be walking out with her, or maybe you'll just be, standing on the side.
She's like the side mom. She always gets the videos. She's cheering us on. She's awesome.
So
She's like our second mom.
do you think the Mariners organization should make like a customized, jersey for her to wear on the field?
You know what? I'm going to make some phone calls. Let's see what they
Awesome.
say.
Yes.
Yes.
Just to let you guys know, I am a costume designer too. So if
Yes,
you-
Erica is a custom designer,
wow.
so
There
so
we
maybe,
go.
maybe Erica could, they could provide the jersey, and maybe they, I don't know, what are
She can bedazzle it.
the cleats?
Yeah, I do a lot of things. Like I have a graphic line, then I also have a clothing line, and then a costume line too.
Awesome.
There you go.
So everything is very like glitzy too.
Oh, I already love it.
So what was your most recent before my show today? Your last radio TV interview that you've done? Because this is radio and TV, by the way. So
It was just this last week I did an on-phone interview with KAPP in Yakima. So
and how did that go?
it was good.
So between
Yeah.
the KAPP interview and the Studio 110.live with me, Dirty Harry, what would you say was a more enjoyable experience?
Should I answer that?
Well, no, I mean,
No, I love this interaction.
shout out to
It's so
KAPP. I
awesome.
mean, I think they're probably a great news outlet, but I'm sure did KAPP, were they as fun and entertaining as I am, or?
No, you're great. You're an awesome
You're
entertainer.
one of a
I love it. You
kind,
make
yes.
me feel awesome. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, where is KAPP?
In Yakima.
In Yakima. Okay, so that's near the Tri-Cities.
Yep.
Correct. You know what's so interesting about these TV stations in Yakima? They're
What's
next
that?
to a funeral place.
Yeah. They
Yes.
really are.
It's-
All there on.
Yes. Isn't
Yakima
that
Ave,
interesting? Yes.
Terrace Heights.
That
Yeah.
must be just like you walk out of the TV station and you see the bunch of the plots here in the graveyard, and it's just like, it's probably not what you want to be thinking about when you leave the TV station. Tough day, knocking on sex addicts' doors, and then having to see headstones right here. Just probably not the imagery that you want to think about it after a stressful day, right? I mean, you want to go to a park or see some boats or see some nice gardens or stuff like that, right?
It's
I think
actually-
because
yeah.
the neighbors are really quiet. I think that's why the stations pick these places.
And so out of all the years that you were a TV reporter and anchor, besides knocking on these horrible people's doors, what was your if you had to sum it down to one example of a story that you'll never forget?
I did a story with a grandmother who had triplets, and I was so fascinated by that story because she had children of her own, plus she had, grandchildren, and I think it was in her 50s where she had triplets. And to me, that was really fascinating because when I'm a grandmother, I'm going to think about retirement.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going on vacation, right?
Yeah.
And she decided to have more kids at that age.
Wow. And was this in studio, or where did you do the interview at?
This was in Yakima.
At her house?
Yep, it was at her house.
So screaming in the babies while you're probably trying to do the interview. Was there like a nurse in the bath, trying to watch the kids while TV was there?
I don't remember the nurse. This was, almost 20 years ago. So it's been a while, but for some reason that story, I just remember extremely well. And then there's a story about Tiger Woods when I was working in Flint, Michigan. He was in town for a golf tournament, and I just remember swarms of people following him, 2,000 people following his every move. And I was really fascinated about Tiger, wow, people really love him.
Yep.
Because we don't have 2,000 people following us, and I can only imagine that kind of lifestyle where you are constantly being watched.
Do you miss TV? Do you want to get back into it? I mean, with the local station here, like, Como or King, Cairo, Q13, one of those?
TV has changed so much.
It has
People
changed.
don't watch TV anymore. You know what they do? They watch it right here.
Right, absolutely.
On their phones. So
That's why live podcasts are so popular right now too. Same with radio.
Podcasts.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, this is a live podcast show, and that's why radio is deteriorating as well in the level of nature that it is. Because, I mean, do you personally like to listen to 14 minutes worth of commercials?
No.
I don't know who does, but people like to hear their favorite songs, and they've got their itemized playlists on their phones. I mean, that's how they can hear live podcasts, and that's how they can see you and hear us at Studio110.live. So I'm sure when you walk down the street, you get noticed. I mean, any paparazzi moments, any TMZ sightings so far, in New York or in Yakima or in Michigan, or any of the places that you've visited so far since you've been wearing the crown?
So one of the weirder moments was I was just walking through the airport, no sash, no crown, nothing, and they're like, "You're Miss Washington," and I was like, "Huh? How do you know that?" Like I'm scrubbed out, right? And it was just like, "Oh, we're gonna watch you at Miss USA. We're totally rooting for you." I'm like, "Well, thank you so much."
This was at CTAG?
Yes, yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. So you have that traction. You have those people following you. Hopefully they were respectful and they didn't follow you outside of baggage claim to wherever you were going.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I'm betting it's all because of my mom and aunt. They're my biggest fans. They on Facebook, they have hundreds of friends, and then they share it, and it's just, I think it's all because of them.
And they were your bodyguards as well too. They were looking out, or you have your own
aunt.
set of bodyguards on top of your mom and family.
Oh yeah, my aunt and my sister are actually my rough and tough and ladies, my right and my left hand ladies.
And they wear like the black hats and the black gear, and they got handcuffs.
No,
and
I'm sure they would.
They should. They absolutely should. As you progress
it.
and evolve the brand that you're carrying right now, I think that definitely needs to happen. What do you enjoy doing on your off time when you're not, speaking engagements and doing radio and TV interviews, since this is your favorite one, obviously, but and I know you're enjoying yourself today, but when you're doing other ones that might not be as entertaining and as enjoyable, what are you doing on your off time?
So I love to travel. I've been to Europe several times. I've been across the U.S. several times. I really just love seeing different cultures. I'm very ethnically diverse and accepting, and I think that's something that I really like to pull from those experiences. Empathy and just being really accepting of other cultures, other people, and what they love to do. I really love to travel. I love to model. I'm kind of breaking into that a little more.
Who have you modeled for so far? What gigs have you had so far on the modeling pedestal?
Actually, I was decided to be the face of Fashion Week just this last fall here in Seattle. So that was a really big breakthrough moment for me. I kind of want to run with that title as I'm really dedicated to Miss Washington right now, Miss Washington USA, and will continue to be. But using that as kind of a microphone and a platform with the modeling and fashion industry, I think I'm hoping it'll take me far enough to make myself run. So
I'm sure it will. You have an open seat here anytime you want to join us in the studio. We will. I don't care how big the guests are, Erica. We'll bring in another microphone.
Sit next to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
sure.
we'll bring in another microphone here for the lovely Miss Washington USA. Like how I remembered USA, it took me 19 times to remember. I didn't have to look at my little cue piece of paper here. Speaking of fashion, where are you personally shopping? Because I always love to talk fashion. I mean, I'll tell you right off the bat, I love for local. There's not a lot here for us to purchase for fashion, and I think my buddy DC here. By the way, shout out to DC here, one of our camera guys here at Studio 110. Thanks for making the trip down here, DC. DC and I always talk about fashion, but for you, What are some of your favorite? What are your top 5 fashion outlets here locally?
Definitely Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, Ted Baker, London.
How about Zara?
You know, I've never really went into Zara. I don't just.
That's okay. So Zara is definitely designed for more of the trim fit type of body types for men and women. And the thing that I've always, because for a while we didn't have a Zara here. So for a while when I wanted to go to Zara, I had 2 options. I could go up to Vancouver, Canada with my buddies and drive, 2.5 hours just to go shopping. And sometimes I did that on a random Sunday afternoon. Or I had to go out to New York. Yeah. And, before we had Zara here, it was fun because I would, either go to Vancouver or New York and I would buy things and I'd wear them back here. And people would always say, like, where'd you get that blazer? Where'd you get that jacket or whatever? And I'd say, oh, I got it at the store out of state. Now that we have Zara here, and I'm very happy we do, Westlake Center and Bellevue Square, and a lot of the people down there I'm buddies with, and they show me this stuff when I go in. The thing that I like about Zara personally, and I don't know if you know this, and Maureen, I don't know if you know this as well, is they're absolutely brilliant at changing that store over every single week. Wow. So a lot of stores, you'll walk through, once every 2 weeks, whatever, and you'll see the same product. But at Zara, they're always transitioning the floor.
Fashion trends.
They're always, they send their core design team to all the biggest fashion shows, and then they mimic their version of it. So like they design kind of what looks good for the Zara customer. Their blazers are really trim fitted. They're not like the old school baggy style blazers that look terrible on people. So I didn't know, like, that's why I wanted to, ask you about fashion and what are some brands within the fashion business that you like that you're a fan of?
So I am a very tall woman. I am 5'11" and a quarter, flat-footed with no shoes on. So finding something long enough is really big for me. So, I mean, I don't have a particular brand in mind that I'm most on top of. Do you
like shoes?
I love shoes. So, you should see my shoe closet. It is.
How many pairs?
I'd say I probably have about 200 heels.
Wow.
You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't. 200.
How many of those are from Louboutin?
I don't own a pair of Louboutins.
You don't?
I have very ugly feet. So I don't think they'd look very pretty inside.
So maybe off the air, maybe I'm sure there's a picture here on your phone off the air if you guys can hang out till, if you guys have to go, no problem. We'll see you next time. But I would love to see your, a picture of the shoe closet. I will. Like how do you have them sectioned out? Color or?
Color. I've OCD. I mean, my closet is color coordinated. My shoes are color coordinated. So.
Are they all I'm like that too. Are they lined up perfectly? And
yep. The left shoe is pointed out right, and then the right shoe is flipped around backwards.
It's a good way to be.
Yeah, that's how I'm. Yeah.
So how many pairs of red patent leather heels then do you have?
I think only 4.
Oh,
but
only
different
4.
like styles. There's a pump. There's a strappy. There's a stiletto.
And if you have over 200, that means you have what? You have every color of the rainbow?
I have a lot of nude shoes. I only have 1 pair of pink, which it kind of like blows my mind because I love pink. And I was looking for a blush pink this morning, and I didn't have one. I'm like, I should probably get one.
So that would be 201 pair. That would go from 200 to. Yeah. Well, that should be like a party in your house. Like you've gone officially from 200 pairs now to 201 pairs. So I think, that would be really cool. And do family members come in and ask to borrow shoes, or do they know, is the door locked, or is there security standing outside the room? Or?
So actually, I have the smallest feet in my family, so none of my sisters, my one sister and my mom, they don't get to take any of my shoes because they're all smaller. And then my best friend and I are the same shoe size, and she's been borrowing like a pair or 2 since we were friends in high school, and so she's, gotta keep my eye on her.
But are you the type of person, though? Are you the type of person that when you walk back into your shoe closet, if like the right side of the shoe is a little like crooked or not straight, you'll start texting people and calling people like, okay, who was in my shoe closet? Who wore the shoes? Why are they crooked on the right? Why are they crooked on the left? Because it's like, the shoes should be lined up perfectly, right? It's almost kind of like that fireman mentality. Like in the middle of the night when the fireman goes to sleep, because I have friends who are firemen and I've volunteered plenty of years with the Seattle Fire Department. You line the shoes up exactly right to the side of the bed, so when you get up in the morning, the shoes are perfectly positioned right there, ready to go on the feet.
I used to do that in elementary school, but that's because I'd take forever in the morning trying on 6 different outfits.
Well,
to figure out what to wear.
Not a bad way to. Do you also like leather jackets, or?
I do. Yes,
I do too. How many leather jackets? 400 or?
400.
I think I only have 3.
3?
Yeah.
So you're a shoe gal. Shoe's your thing.
Yes.
How many pairs of heels do you have, Maureen?
I probably have maybe 10 pairs.
Do you guys wear the same size shoe, or?
I'm a size 6, I think.
What are you?
I'm a 9.
No, it doesn't look like that'll
Well,
work.
Abigail, I'm curious, how many pairs of shoes are you going to bring to Miss USA? This is tough.
I don't know. I remember watching it last year, and Miss New York was like, I brought 36 pairs of shoes. I'm like, girl, that's not.
Do they make special shoe bags just to travel with for shoes?
No.
I don't know this, so.
Maybe they do. I
So
don't know.
see, all this show is also kind of a business savvy tech show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always kind of unveiling new ideas. So maybe on your off time, which doesn't seem like you have any, you can maybe, put together a cool women's shoe bag for people that, because believe me, there's people that have, not a lot of people, but there's people out there that have probably as many pairs of shoes as you do.
Yeah,
So.
I believe it. I know my one tip for packing all those heels is putting the heels in first, doing it heel toe to heel toe, right? And then putting like your undies and your socks and like rolling your leggings in between those spaces.
That's exactly what I do.
And then just laying all of your other clothes flat right on top.
That's exactly what I do, because nothing frustrates me more is like if it's a garment bag or a suitcase, I got my shoes in the bag and they're squished and they just don't look good after a long flight.
And there's like a crink in the leather on the toe. And
Yeah, so what I do is I take about 3 pairs of socks and I squish them in there as hard as I can. And then this way, when you land, they'll look good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best thing that I can find out. Have you thought about, Maureen, that you've got this amazing representation going here for Miss Washington USA to possibly see if there's some shoe deals, shoe endorsements out there that may be interested in having her wear their shoes either on the runway or at a magazine photo shoot or even on stage coming up at one of the big platforms?
Well, first off, I didn't know that you own that many pairs of shoes, and now I'm
So
thinking,
you're learning,
wow,
always
yes,
learning things on this show.
I'm learning something new about you constantly. I had no idea her closet was that meticulous. No idea about that. So I'm learning constantly something new about you.
So for future interviews, then I'm sure Maureen then will, like on the copy points, this is a little radio jargon, but on the copy points, like on the bullets, she'll say a good, strong topic to talk about, because a lot of times we get copy points and we got to stay away from this, got to stay away from that. And some of us like to, push the edge and talk about that. But I would guess for you, it would be fun to talk about shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Love shoes. I have a question.
Yes, Erica.
So do you ever do like swimwear modeling or anything like that?
I have not.
Oh, you did Elizabeth Jane.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
you know
yes.
what? That's very recent. Just last week I did my first swimsuit shoot, which was super fun. Anything else has just been for hobby purposes. But yeah, that was my first one, and that was so exciting. I loved it.
Where was that at?
What kind of swimsuit was that?
So it's Elizabeth Jane, and they're local.
Yep,
aren't
it's a
they?
local
Yeah.
company, and it's about feeling good in your swimsuit.
They have a hashtag love your selfie.
Yes.
So
Good timing
cute.
too, with the weather. We're in spring
Yes,
now, going into
exactly,
summer.
yes.
We're not doing
That's
this
the
around
worst
Thanksgiving,
part,
so
though. That's the worst part is you have to model swimwear in winter so then they can come out with them right before summer. So you're freezing your bum off in swimsuits outside in the cold water, but it's worth it because
hopefully you took a bunch of airborne or vitamin C so you didn't get
yeah.
cold. Yep.
So my company launches in about 2 months, but I would love to custom design you something.
Let's do that on the show. Let's unveil that on the show at Studio110.live.
Yeah.
Studio110.live needs to be a household name here.
You'd like, you could even put Miss Washington USA on it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And we could do diamonds and pink, and you tell me a list of things, and I will create.
Yes, we have
And I
so
would
many.
love to have that live.
We have
Now, did
opportunities.
KAPP offer that? When you were at KAPP, did they offer? No. So KAPP
Yeah.
did not offer that. So that's
so
one thing
many
that
opportunities.
Studio110.live is offering.
That'd be
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Especially for my launch for my company.
Yes, and at Miss USA we have events where we might be at water parks, we might be on the lakes, just so swimwear.
Do you guys
Yeah,
offer
I have one
cars?
interest too,
I'm
so.
curious now, since you guys are offering so much. Do you guys offer cars?
Yeah, we're looking for a car sponsorship.
you know what? It's funny you bring that up, Maureen, because I can. And they're actually listening right now. Louie and Justin, who are senior down at the Larson Automotive Group in Puyallup. They've got about 14 dealerships, and they always take care of me when I switch out my cars down at their the location in Puyallup, Washington. So I can talk to Louis down there, or I'll give Erica Louis's contact, and and actually Louis and Justin are going to be guests on the show. So maybe if you guys are around, we can we're going to do some car segments, because cars are relatable to quite a few people. So
yes.
We'll do a car segment and see what's your favorite car.
A McLaren P1, if anybody wants to offer that one forward.
I don't think the Larson Automotive Group have McLarens, but in the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep family, is there anything that you'd be seated or?
I love Jeeps. Jeeps are comfortable, and I nanny a lot, so I've got kids too. So having a good little family car, safe car would be ideal.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll see if we can. So let me think about the laundry list right now in my head. So we have to try to ink a shoe deal for her, a car deal for her.
Custom designed for swimwear.
Custom designed for swimwear. Well, what else? I'm trying to get to 5 things here, and it's been 20 minutes since she's been on the air with me. So
organizing her suitcase from Miss USA.
Bags.
Something about
coming up with a customized shoe bag, yes, for your travel arrangements. That's enough. That's 4 things to think about.
You could be at my company's launch, because we're going to be doing like a giant yacht party too. So.
That's right. We are doing a yacht party. We're going to be doing a live broadcast on yachts as we get into the summertime too. That's just another major thing that we're putting together here at Studio 110. So we got a lot of exciting things, and it's all about relationships, Maureen.
Yes.
Like being in TV for years, we don't burn bridges around here.
Oh, it's such a small world.
We don't burn bridges, and we all know each other. I mean, we all know each
exactly,
other, and if we ran into each other at Bellevue Square tonight or next week, it would be a nice conversation.
Yes.
We'd say, hey, how are you, and we'd catch up and all that, but then it would all relate back to the show. I'll come right back to the show and say, hey, when can we get you guys back in? And like Marcus Trufant, a former Seattle Seahawks star, was on the show with Sir Mix-a-Lot the day I kicked off, and he'll be coming back in. So I know you like to travel. Out of all the places that you have traveled, what's your next exciting state or country to visit?
Let's see. Like I said earlier, I'm headed back to New York next month. Oh, I'm actually going to Hawaii day after tomorrow, so I'm excited to go there.
Now, is this a vacation or work?
So this is just vacation.
Okay.
Typically, it is work. We own a house over there, and so it's been renovated and redesigned, and that's something that my mom has had since I was a little girl. It was just a little jungle shack. I mean, we lived off of... We were green before being green was cool. I mean, we read by lantern light, lived off catchment, and it was just really urban, easy way to live. So we've kind of just turned that little jungle shack into this beautiful island dream house. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I'll have to show you a picture, but it's something that my mom is really proud of as well. And
how long are you going for? Are you going for like the proper? You can't go to Hawaii for less than 2 weeks. So.
Oh yeah, so we're actually going for 10 days this time.
Good.
We're going to spend a couple days on the Kona side where it's warm and touristy, and then we're going to head over to the other side of the island near Hilo, where it's very local, tropical. I mean, it rains, and that's something you don't really see often. It's kind of like Eastern Washington and Western Washington, where it's rain and cold and wet and green, and then it's hot and dry and desert on the other side. So that's basically like what the Big Island of Hawaii is. So.
And the last time that I was in Maui, I did something that, because I love talking about experiences that you can really only experience in certain places around the world. But I went jet skiing in the middle of the ocean. So they put you on a large boat, and they take you out to like this big whatever it's called, a barge, and you go on this barge, and there's jet skis around the full circumference of the barge. And they've got buoys, so they've got a whole, it's like, like Seafair. They've got, when the hydros, they've got a whole, perimeter that you're supposed to stay in within. So one of the instructors said, don't be alarmed or worried if you see large mammals popping their head out of the ocean. And then, who in their right mind is like, okay, no big deal. Like, what's a shark going to do to me? So I'm my buddies and I are on the jet skis, and we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, off the coast of Maui, and this shark just pops his head out of the water.
Oh God!
And I wasn't near it. I mean, I saw it from a distance and stuff. But you've never heard such screams.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I mean, chances are that shark wasn't going to hurt anybody. Didn't hurt anybody. Everybody made it back to their hotels just fine. But it wasn't necessarily the shark part of the story. It was the opportunity to be on a jet ski and go around, a few times around the buoys, around the perimeter in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Like that's the first time I've done that. So I don't know when you're down there if you I don't know. Hopefully they still do it, but
I stay away from those kind of things because one time I was in the Bahamas, my family kind of did something similar like that, where they took us around the islands, and the tour guide he was in front, he was having a good time leaving us all behind, and my sister and I were on a jet ski, and it just went kaput. And I mean, we're passing over barracudas and all these lovely ocean creatures that you don't necessarily want to be stranded with.
So I want to hear this. So what happened? Give us the whole story.
So my dad ended up coming back for us and picked us all up on this one jet ski. So there's 3 of us. I think there was 4 because he had my little brother as well. So he left the jet ski that basically just shut off and wouldn't turn back on, and ran up to the tour guide and was like, "Hey, excuse me, you left our kids back here to basically die in the ocean." I'm actually kind of scared of the ocean, based off of just traumatizing experiences.
Those can be traumatizing experiences.
So,
absolutely.
I don't like swimming in deep, dark waters.
That's totally understandable.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's something about exciting and fascinating to be able to swim with sharks, though. Like if you're in a cage.
It's a thrill.
Absolutely.
Yes. I like thrills personally.
Yes.
So that's actually on my bucket list, but I definitely want a cage around me. Yeah. I don't want to just do it in the open water.
Because don't people do it in the open, though? Like, I mean, I've seen it both,
it's
right?
Nuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were in Bora Bora and swam with just I think they're little lemon shark, reef sharks or something. And I was like shaking in my suit the entire time. I'm like, okay, can you get me out of here now? This is so scary. I'm not a fan. But it's a really thrilling experience. I would definitely recommend it.
Let's talk about you throwing out the, because this is a pretty cool opportunity that you've got coming your way to throw out the first pitch at the upcoming Mariners game. Who are they playing at that game? Do we know?
The Astros.
Houston Astros. Seems like we always play Houston a lot for opening games here in Seattle. So it's all about, from the knowledge that I have of baseball, it's all about speed. So the pitcher, a lot of these guys, they're, throw 102 miles an hour, 97 miles an hour. Like, is that even in your framework, in your mind, or do you just care about standing on the mound and throwing it fast enough so that the catcher actually, that the ball doesn't fall on the ground before the catcher catches it?
I'm just really focusing on getting it to the catcher and not far left field. That's just my goal.
And hopefully the Mariners have allowed Maureen and you to allow the whole family to come down for this big production.
I think your dad's going to come too, right?
My parents
her
are
family.
Come and watch that.
And where is everybody sitting? Like, because the Diamond Club is the premier seating there. You get dinner before the game, you get your parking space, and that's the proper place to sit at a Mariners game. So
we're going to be just a few rows away from, I think, right side. The right field. Yeah.
Good.
So we actually have very good seats.
Good. Well, I would imagine if the Mariners are happy with the opening first ball being thrown out, they'll ask you to come back. Okay. And maybe this could be, on top of the laundry list and bucket list of all your daily priorities and initiatives. Maybe you, pitching out a few times, could be in the cards. You never know. I mean, I there's been a lot that I've gone through that I never thought that I would do, and I did it. So, I'm not to say that you want to, volunteer to do these guys' jobs because they're making, $50 million a year. But, I think it would add a more beautiful side of what the game needs. Because I think last time I checked, the only really pretty girls to look at on a baseball field are the girls that, what are they called, the ball girls? When the ball kind of goes out, when the ball goes like on the foul, they catch the ball. You always see them on TV giving it to like the little kids and putting a big smile on their face. So you never know. You never know what could come in the future for you. So once again, give me all the details for the upcoming next level of pageantry for you, and we'll ask Maureen a couple more questions, and then we'll welcome in our next guest.
So it's just physical preparation in the gym daily, mental preparation because you have to be prepared. I mean, you're going up against the nation's most beautiful women, and win, lose, or draw, you're still great. That's just the main important key to have.
Sorry, not to interrupt you, but you just talked about the workout regimen. So let's talk about the workout regimen. What does that consist of every day?
So just a lot of healthy eating. I'm a terrible person when it comes to eating bad, but that's because I have a metabolism that is, it's just like that. It goes right through. And so
you can eat a Snickers bar and not be affected by it.
Exactly.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was doing 2-a-days for a while. I'm feeling really confident about my body and where it's at, that I don't need to do that so much. A lot of ab workout is what I find most important. Legs, of course.
Are you a runner? Do you run?
I love running. I did
treadmill or on the track or?
Both. If a track is available, I'll run the track. I don't like running in one place for 15 minutes straight. I try to get at least 2 miles in.
That's good. And this is every day.
Yep. Yesterday, I got a 2-mile run in with my puppy.
So 14 miles a week. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And when I was younger, it was so hard for me to run. I mean, I had sport-induced asthma, and so breaking through that was huge. And that's just another accomplishment that came with being Miss Washington, is just finding new things about myself and just being really proud of who I am. So,
great. And that's what it's about. And I think the message that you kind of translated earlier to my listening audience about recommendations for people to, ultimately have the dream that you've, been able to bring to yourself for your brand and to make your family and your fans happy and for the future travel engagements coming up. I mean, that's really impressive, especially at 20 years old. I mean, I can't imagine what's going to be happening at 25 or 30 just on the road to success that you are, thanks to Maureen and I'm sure everybody else standing outside my studio door here eagerly trying to come in here, but they'll have to wait because this is the exciting side of the door, and that's the business office out there. So how can people, is there a way people can reach out to you on social networking to ask advice let's give those prime addresses out here.
So my Instagram is Miss WA USA, as well as Twitter is Real Miss WA USA.
Okay.
Snapchat is Miss WA USA, and on Facebook you can find me at Miss Washington USA. And also, if you're interested in competing or have any questions regarding it, you can, of course, DM me, or you can reach out to the director. You can find all of our information at www.misswashingtonusa.com.
And, of course, keep it respectful. Hopefully everybody does. Hopefully Maureen won't have to go knock on anybody's door saying, let's keep this professional, guys.
Yes.
And, but on an average day,
she does great at that, though.
I'm sure Maureen does. You've got a TV star here backing you up, wanting you to succeed on higher levels that you probably can't even imagine. What does the inbox look like on a daily? I mean, 100 people sending messages. I mean, what not only I want to know the amount roughly per week of how many people are reaching out, but what are some of the questions that they're asking you?
So I think that would be something that I would push over to Maureen, as she does a lot of my engagement.
Let's talk about
emails,
that.
So we oversee not only Washington, but Idaho, Montana, and Oregon.
Okay.
We get hundreds of emails a day.
Hundreds a day.
I'm not joking.
And how many people are on the team just replying to these hundreds every day?
It's myself, the other co-executive producer, who is my husband, and our team member, Maureen. There are 3 of us constantly on emails. And we have about 200 contestants in all 4 states.
Wow.
And we oversee 8 title holders. That's teen and miss, again, in those 4 states. So
on top of creating the Beauty Brand Believe Expo and the GBAs. So she's awesome. She's a real super woman.
Oh, thank you. I mean,
how many times a day are you guys talking if you guys aren't,
Oh, regularly.
Yeah,
yes.
we chat, every single day.
There you go. And some of these messages, when they're corresponding, you asking you for advice or critique, well, walk me through just a kind of an average message when people are hitting people up, because I think it'd be good for the listening audience to be able to hear this.
So people will ask, is Abigail available to judge an event? Is she available to do a charity event? There's always constantly emails requesting if she's available, and we decide whether it fits in with the brand. And we go, okay, let's move forward with this, or this is not part of the brand. Because these are, again, young women. We're mentoring between 14 and 27 years old. So we want to make sure that whatever appearances they're involved with, it ties in with the confidently beautiful brand. And what a lot of people don't know, somebody like Oprah actually did pageants. Oprah, you have Vanessa Williams, Maria Menounos, Bridget Wilson. These are all women who've done pageants. So they go on to amazing things. And like what you were saying earlier, Abigail's only 20. I can only imagine what she's doing at 25.
Yeah, I mean, I would think at 25, we'll see you, like I said, in some large-scale magazines, maybe a big McLaren car commercial. Maybe you'll be representing an airlines. So I think the world is, and don't ever forget the small people,
Absolutely. That's my value.
Like the people that have brought you on shows like this. Shout out to KAPP and all the other interviews that you've done. Studio110.live. We're all here to push Abigail as far to the most extreme level up the hill. So that's the business that we're in as radio hosts and TV hosts. When we're passionate about helping people out, because I'm sure Maureen, you know this as well. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people at the end of the day, they look out for themselves and they don't care. They don't care about helping people out. But I'll tell you right now, if I had to be on there 24 hours a day at Studio110.live, no one will ever be able to take it out of me. I will always do whatever I can to help people out. That's just the way that's the business that I've always tried to represent. And I can never look at myself in the mirror and have any regrets, because I think that's what it's about. Let me just ask my producer here real quick. Usually I don't do this live on the air, but are our next guests here? Or?
Yes, they are.
They are here. Okay, so why don't we go down and get them? I'll stay on with Abigail and Maureen, and then we'll transition into the next segment. So we stay on track here. 2:32. So okay, we got you touched on kind of the platform that you're currently at, where you're ultimately getting at. You got the first pitch at the Seattle Mariners game. What would be the opportunities? I think, and it did not, of course I want you to come back on the show and I want to stay in contact and have you promote upcoming things. But, with you, Maureen, like if there's opportunities with, the other pageants or, the other projects, let's use my new show here as those proper platforms to promote it.
I wish, again, we were introduced a lot sooner, because the actual award show was on March the 10th, and we had the first female CEO in L'Oreal's history there. We had the producer of Good Morning America.
Huge.
We have a woman, her name is Denise White. She was a former Miss Oregon USA. She just sold her story rights to Fox. And Jennifer Aniston will be portraying her in the movie The Fixer.
Nice.
So there's a lot of people, again, in the pageant community that I'll bring over to your radio show.
Miss USA there too.
Yes. Oh, and we also had Miss USA, the president of the Miss Universe organization. Again, so many fascinating people in our industry that I know you would totally enjoy.
I would love to. Let's get Erica and the staff here to get those scheduled on my calendar. When you wake up in the morning, Abigail, like every morning, what's that one thing that just gets you charged to get through the day? Like there's probably multiple things, and we'll talk about them, but what's the one thing that you just get super amped and excited about when you kick off your day every day?
That is just one day closer to Miss USA.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, of course, like everyone normal, we always have those rough days where we either want to be down on ourselves or you're just questioning a lot. But I think Miss Maureen here and my mom and just my circle are really great when it comes to making sure that I don't forget my values and where I'm going and what's right in front of me. And so just being on track and just super excited for nationals is so important, and that's just what's getting me through each and every day. And even after nationals, it's going to be just continuing to volunteer, whether I am crowned Miss USA or not. Just, of course, not forgetting your roots, like you said, because it's so important to have your value and remember who you truly are and what people have done to get you where you are. And so just continuing to give back to Pageants Northwest and the title in Miss Washington itself. So. And
at 20 years old, like what's like your closest girlfriends? Are they? I mean, I'm hoping that they're all super supportive and you hang out with them a lot and you talk to them. But I personally, for like my friends, I have kind of a closer niche group just because that's kind of the way I am. But for you, like I would imagine with you, I would imagine that everybody would try to be coming out of the limelight here to be your friend and offer their kind of critique. And is that something you have to deal with?
I have definitely noticed that, but something that a good friend within the pageant community, Austin Ride, has told me, as well as Miss Maureen and David, is don't let too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yep.
Because when you do, it's going to get
Very
messy.
good advice. Very good advice, Maureen.
Yep. And when it comes to my best friend, she, as soon as we heard the dates, she was like, okay, I'm on getting my tickets right now. It's so-and-so this amount much. I'm like, well, how did you already know that? And she's like, oh, I've been on it for weeks now. Because, I mean, there's so many rumors. And so she was on looking at flights to these rumored cities. And so she was on it. That's my number one girl right there.
There you go. It's always good to have a good friend that always is looking out for your best interest and
Yeah,
will,
she really
support
is.
you through whatever.
Sometimes if I post on my social media, I'll mess up grammar-wise or something. And
That's
so she'll
okay.
text me. She'll be like, hey, you messed this up. Go fix it right now. I'm like, oh, gosh, this is why you're my best friend. Shout out to Larissa.
That's what I wanted to do now. So I want you to shout out everybody that needs to be shouted out. And for you too, Maureen. Before you do that, real quick, our next guest here?
Yes.
Okay.
So are we bringing them
Yeah, so what I want to do is, if we can kind of put them outside in the green room, just in a quick waiting area, if you guys can wait for a few minutes, because I want to take some pictures with you guys when I'm off the air. And then let's get our new guests in. And I don't want to do that, though. I want you guys to do the shout-outs. Let's get the new guests in. And this is live radio. Normally, like, in the old days, you'd play commercials and you do a lot of the back talk jargon, in commercial breaks. But you know what? I have no problem with people witnessing behind the scenes. So please, Abigail, give your list of important shout-outs, and don't forget anybody.
Okay. I have my mom to thank, my daddy, all of my siblings, my 5 brothers and 1 sister, Miss Maureen, all of our amazing sponsors at Pageants Northwest, and that list is incredibly long. I don't think we would be able to get through them all.
That's a good list, and probably the Seattle Mariners. You're
yes,
excited.
Absolutely. The Miss Universe organization, foremost, for just creating such a beautiful thing, an organization for women to hop into and be able to find who they are and show their values and make a change in the world. My best friend, my aunts, my uncles, everyone far and in between. They've all been so wonderful in helping me succeed. So thank you all so much. I love you.
Well, thank you very much for joining me on my brand new show today, Studio 110.live. Thanks for putting it on your social, and I hope you'll make this your future home. I hope you'll come in again.
I would love
and
to.
I hope next time you have a major announcement, we can unveil that like we have. We've been doing it a fair amount of times. We'll be doing it tomorrow. We'll be doing it next week. We did it last week with an artist named Huey P. So I would invite you to utilize my show, Studio 110.live, to make future announcements, and we'll see if we can get a specialized chair for you to make it look a little nicer here in the studio for Abigail. Maureen, we'll close it out with a couple shout outs from you, and we'll get some pictures when I get off the air here in a few minutes.
Well, shout out to you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
You have been just so generous. And if you want to throw out the first pitch at the Mariners game, let me know.
I would love to.
And I will make
could I be
connections.
broadcasting live on the field? Can I be doing that? I'd love to be doing that.
I'm going to talk to my contacts today about this.
Yes, I would love to do Studio 110.live, throwing out the first pitch, Dirty Hair. I would love to do that.
Love it.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to all of our amazing title holders, Danny, Tanita. It's Tanita's birthday, so happy birthday, Tanita. Taya, JC. We have 2 JCs, Ellie, of course, Abigail, Summer. Did I miss anybody else? Nope, I got them all. And of course, my lovely husband, David Van Maren, who is watching our son, and our team. We have such a core team. These are amazing volunteers: Tammy, David H., Joshua, Maureen. Again, just
and I want to shout out the people that are back at the office right now, responding to all of Abigail's emails, asking, well, if I'm 5'2" and I wear size 5.5, can I still be,
Yes,
in a contender for an upcoming show?
And age as well. So many age emails after I'd won. They were like, is she really 19? Wow, I'm going to come back next year then.
So there you go.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
I'm all about staying on time here. It's an old radio jargon thing that we stay on time as close to as we can. Please join us in our green room outside the studio here, and we'll get some pictures here in a few minutes. And we'll transition here our new guests here at Studio 110.live. We'll have you sit. We'll have you guys sit right here, and we'll kick this off. Thank you again, Abigail. Thank you, Maureen. Stay with us here in the green room. We'll get some pictures when we get off the radio here. So I'm told. Where is my my little cheat sheet here? Another little radio term here that we got. Eugene Capon, and now which. Yes, it's you that yes. My producer Erica said that you and I go back, and I said and I said that I needed to I said that I needed to see the face to be able to all have come back together. But it's been a long time, man. Good to see you.
I know, yeah, it's been a long time.
If you can just get a little closer to the microphone for me, you two. Aaron's already a champ. He's been on this a few. So I'm going to kind of open this to my tech.
Well, first you said that there's a special announcement tomorrow.
There is.
What is it?
Well, being in this industry, Aaron, for as many years as I can, that's kind of a cardinal rule that I can't unveil it. But
I thought maybe it was an announcement about how great Popeye energy drink tastes.
That's in the works too.
Okay.
That's in the works too. But this is a very tomorrow's a big show. Tomorrow's a big show. We have I'm going to say that we have a big surprise, and then we have two big surprises tomorrow. We have a big surprise announcement, and then we have a big surprise guest. So the show is only becoming larger and larger and larger. So it's great to be here, and it's great to be back on the radio.
And the beards on the show are becoming larger and larger.
They are.
And larger.
They are. So I want to kind of open this up for everybody. Aaron has joined me already once since I've kicked it off here. But Aaron, ladies and gentlemen, here is my buddy here at Studio 110's headquarters, and his level of expertise and brilliance is on the tech side of the business. So, like I said earlier in today's show, this show is evolving into many different attributes and levels. So I'm gonna open it up to my buddy Aaron here to take it away, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna still interject where I need to interject, but. Introduce these guys, or if these guys want to introduce themselves, let's get this kicked off.
So, Harris, we were talking about who do we want on the show?
Right.
Who's a celebrity here in the Washington, the Seattle area?
Right.
And of course, from a tech background, I thought who's the right tech celebrity to be the first tech celebrities? And so I figured the first tech guests needed to be the first legit VR celebrities in the world.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Right? And
That's right.
I like that. I like the way it
Right?
sounds.
Doesn't it? It's true. So I could introduce you guys, but it's always fun to hear you introduce yourself and put yourself on the spot. So Eugene, tell us about Glitched.
Hi, I'm Eugene Capon. I'm with my co-host Topher Welsh.
Hello.
We have a little show called Glitched, a VR talk show on the High Fidelity Network. And we are the first in VR talk show to ever be ordered like a TV show.
Great. And I'm sure it's doing miraculously well.
We just got the paperwork signed for season 3.
Hey,
there you go.
go.
If I had another 50 people in here, it would be a larger round of applause, but that's what you'll have to take right now.
I'll take it.
There you go.
Is that a Studio 110 announcement? Season 3 of Glitched coming at you.
That is huge.
There we go.
Is huge.
That is huge.
Right here from the Pacific Northwest.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Uh,
There you go.
It was so interesting.
Excuse me, I don't usually have tongue twisters on there, but you know what? I'm human. Once again, it just clarifies and signifies that we're a live show. This is not a pre-taped interview. This is live, ladies and gentlemen.
No jump cuts.
Yep.
So originally, when VR first started to become a big thing in this newest wave of VR,
Okay.
I decided, hey, I'm going to jump and do this full time.
Great.
And so I started following everybody I could on social media, and I had been doing YouTube for a long time, and I had one of those blue celebrity check marks next to my name.
Okay.
And one of the people I just started to follow had recently been hired at Altspace, which is another VR company.
Okay.
And his job was to put together 16 big shows on that platform.
Gotcha.
And because it was such a new thing, nobody was getting paid. These were all shows done on spec. And some of those shows were like ESPN, Bill Nye the Science Guy, Reggie Watts, Justin Roiland, who created Rick and Morty.
Yep.
And then my name came up. He saw me following, so he reached out. I was like, do you want a show? I got another spot to fill. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
That would be
Who's
amazing.
Who's going to turn that down?
Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not sure what that looks like. So my good friend Topher,
Hey.
we'd been friends for a couple of years at this point, and I knew that he had been doing radio, and from the back and forth, you can confirm that was his background. So I was like, dude, with your personality and my look at how VR culture is actually evolving, we could absolutely kill it. So we started this show called Glitched. It was a VR talk show. And it was basically me bringing on my celebrity YouTube friends into the space and grabbing people who were developing new VR technology or new games or getting ready to launch stuff and giving people that platform as kind of like, hey, we've worked really hard on this VR game. We're a small studio. We probably don't have the expertise for advertising or marketing, and we can bring them in and give them that platform. And so shortly after we did about 6 episodes, Altspace filed for bankruptcy.
And we were terrified because we're like, oh, well, that's nice. Our show's gone.
Yeah. But that actually led me to hanging out with Aaron.
Indeed.
He's like, I saw your
People
show.
go bankrupt, and then you hang out with me.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, we were just kind of taking meetings with whoever to figure out, like, where is the next step for this?
Right.
Like, how can we like bring it to the next level? And Aaron was like, hey, I don't know what you guys are doing, but, come and check out
That's
this,
right.
this
I had
space.
you in to check out the Ark.
Yeah. He actually came to a panel that I was on, sat down next to me, and was like, I know who you are. I was like, oh, great. So, we did this, and, this space wasn't really for us, but we kept that line of communication open.
Yep.
And about a month later, have you ever heard of Second Life?
I have not.
Okay, it was a huge. It was kind of like The Sims, but it was all like multiplayer based.
It's like The Sims mixed with World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was huge. There's like 1 million documentaries on the subject, and they reached out and they're like, "Hey, we have this new company called High Fidelity. We loved your show. Can we get you to do it on our network?" And I was like, have you done anything like this before? Like, yeah, we produced 1 show in-house. And I was like, oh, okay, so we need money to like make this. Like, yeah, you'll be the first show ever to, be bought externally into our network.
There you go.
And so we got season 2 funded.
Yeah.
And
Now you're on to season 3.
And now we're on to season 3.
That's huge, and anybody knows being able to go from 1 to 2 to even 3. I mean, that's a huge evolution in itself, just on all aspects, from production to getting everything in place, to getting all everything itemized out properly. To it's all about proper accordance and proper organization. So, big shout out to you guys. Now, my producer, like I said, Erica, informed me that you and I go way back, and I'm a brutally honest type of guy. So I just need you to refresh my memory. I mean, I can picture the face, but
the face you remember was pre-beard. So
okay,
that might be.
And where was it?
throwing
Was
you
it
off.
at the former radio station, or where was it?
So it was when before iHeartRadio was a thing.
Clear Channel.
Clear Channel. When
Okay.
you and Eric, I think, were on.
Yeah, we
Cube.
did afternoons together.
I
Yep.
was on Raisin and Kennedy's show.
There you go.
The Funky Monkey.
There you go. That was kind of in the back corner across from the sports radio
It
studios.
was the redheaded stepchild of Clear Channel.
Yes. Now I totally remember. And the
Still
logo,
is.
the logo was like kind of like a green logo, right?
Yeah, it was the monkey with the headphones.
Right. There you go. So what? So and I don't want to take.
Go for it.
I don't want to take Aaron's
Your
spotlight. Thank you, Aaron. I don't want to take Aaron's spotlight away. But how can we here at Studio 110 develop a proper partnership with you, with what you're continuing to build and the success behind your brand? How can we kind of work together where I can continue to help you out on my show, and maybe we could do something, on yours, do a little kind of co-hosting mingle opportunity?
I feel like we need a VR avatar of Dirty Harry, the voice of Seattle.
I think we can probably make you a VR avatar model that you can come and hang out into the VR space as yourself.
That'd be huge.
Would you like that?
I would love to do that. I'm all about helping people out to the highest levels. I just told Abigail, Miss Washington USA, like anything I could do. She's looking for a car endorsement. I'm going to hook her up with the GM of the Larson Automotive Group, who's going to be a guest here in the studio in the next couple weeks. In addition to that, and I've always told Aaron, my co-host on the tech side of Studio 110.live here, anytime you guys have like a future big announcement, and you guys want to utilize this type of platform, we got cameras in here. Obviously we're an audio and visual live show, so please feel free to come in and we'll get you in. The calendar's definitely filling up, but for people that I go back 50 years, I mean, I want to show the respect to you.
I got the gray in my beard. I'm not that old.
Yeah, I was just saying the Funky Monkey days
right.
have surpassed us,
Yes.
since Funky Monkey. But
You're stepping up. You're now in the glitch world, right?
I'm now in the glitch world. Yeah.
in addition to season 3 coming up, what other things are currently in the what's happening line of your day-to-day routines?
You want to?
Well, let's see. Like coming up right here in May, we're going to be going to VRLA. It's
Great.
a huge virtual reality conference.
Okay.
And we're going to have a booth there to people can hopefully come and experience the show a little bit with us.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be able to jump into our glitch space. You put on a headset and walk around digitally.
Have you ever done a live VR show?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We did our
did
finale actually at the UW.
Microsoft Store
The UW Microsoft Store. We had a live thing. We had Andrew Edwards that was there.
from Gear Live.
From Gear Live.
University Village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were at the Microsoft Store. We all had Oculuses on. We had a crowd of 25 people watching us.
Yeah, probably.
And,
And then another 25 people in the virtual stage
In the
because
virtual
people
world.
can come onto our set. They can log in and sit digitally in chairs and watch from a stage as if they were really there.
Have you seen one of the episodes yet, by chance?
Part of it. I haven't seen the full
Okay,
one,
cool.
but part of
So-
it. Erica sent me something that I watched over the weekend.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things I think about the show is the fact that it's not like you stream a show on YouTube.
Right.
You can stream the show on YouTube.
You can, yeah.
But the coolest part about it is you literally can put on a headset and you navigate into our space, and it's like going to watch an episode of Conan being taped,
Yep.
or something like that. And
Yep.
you can go and watch from the audience. You can walk up and ask questions in the Q&A space, but then we also take questions off the chat rooms and stuff like that.
Or whenever we get sponsors, we do sponsored games. So we had Eric Newman on, and we did so he has a product called Strudel Doodle. And
I've actually heard of that.
yeah,
Yep,
really?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
So Strudel Doodle, where it's a volumetric AR application.
Right.
And so in recognition of that product and him being on the show, we actually played Pictionary.
There you go.
Yeah.
Was he able to get Strudel Doodle into your environment?
No. We found a plugin. So
okay,
basically,
okay, yeah.
it was
It's
the
close enough, yeah.
we were able to play Pictionary inside of VR. So it's just writing in
Because Strudel
on the
Doodle,
space.
That's an impressive app in of itself, especially because he made it all himself, right?
yeah.
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 Well, he was able to bring a bunch of his strudel doodle things he created. He placed them on the
he
stage
brought them
and
into the
stuff.
stage, VR stage. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Or he sent me before the show and I placed them.
Hey,
We also had the first VR flash mob of Eric Newman's on
Oh,
that
that's
episode.
right. So he went down to LA and got what's called a duplication done. It's this company called Doob, where you stand it.
Doob. That's a cool company name.
D-O-O-B.
Doob.
I like it.
Who do you work for? Doob.
Doob.
Yeah.
Anyway, you jump into a booth, they take a series of photos, and in 2 weeks you get a realistic looking model of your body.
Wow.
And that's actually what we have for the show.
Yeah.
That way people can actually tell it's us.
So where does the magic happen? Where's the platform? Everybody's listening right now. You're talking about these amazing, cool, platforms. Going into season 3 and the whole kind of how VR is ultimately kind of taking over the industry and kind of in that respected line. But where does the magic happen? Where's base?
The metaverse. No, actually, it just happens. We can actually do it remotely from pretty much anywhere. You can just have a computer that can run a VR system.
Okay.
And a headset. So you can do it in New York. You can do it from a remote location in Jamaica if you have the internet connection. Or like we do it, we just do it in our offices.
And where are the offices?
I live in Tacoma. I'm
Okay.
repping the Tacoma here.
There you go.
The dirty South.
I like Tacoma.
I love Tacoma.
And then I stream from the University of Washington's CoMotion Labs.
Cool.
Yeah, over by the UW.
Are you familiar with Commotion Labs?
A bit.
It's an amazing opportunity that UW puts on for people to come and co-locate, and mostly all working on tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everybody working on medical, IoT, cryptocurrency. I'm in the AR, VR, MR space. So we have our own little floor with there's probably 15 companies in there. And it's so much fun to be there, especially late at night, because you always get somebody finishing the latest build, and they're like, hey, do you want to try, this new update of the Nest we haven't released yet? And I'm like, yes, let's do this. So people just like show up, kind of have LAN parties, within the different companies, testing new games or new products that are getting ready to be released.
Right.
Just
How come I haven't been
bugs.
invited to try the new update?
Yeah, how come Aaron
Do
and I...
you want to?
Yes.
Yes.
I will.
I
I
wanna
will
come
make
try
some
the updates
calls.
of
I
Nest.
can make
Come on,
that
man.
happen.
Yes, we definitely do. Any so when we and this will be kind of we'll wrap it up here in a few minutes. But on the VR side of the conversation, what do you think is the next evolving movement for VR? Like in terms of obviously you got season 3 coming out, but in addition to season 3, what are some other fun opportunities on the VR side that the public should be made aware of that maybe they don't already know of?
So I just gave a talk called "How to Make It in VR."
Okay.
Where I basically lay out how I don't view VR as a technology. I view it as a culture. And we are going to have a very similar culture growth in the way of, say, we had YouTube, where you're going to have people basically rise up as kind of like internet personalities, but specifically for VR. And when I realized that this was probably the path that's going to happen, that's when I was like, okay, we need to make Glitched right now.
There you
we
go.
can't sit on it.
No.
But through that, you're going to have new headsets that are going to show up. You're going to have new people creating in VR shows like ours. Like pretty soon, we're not going to be an exception to the rule. We are going to be one of many in this sea. And really what it's going to take is a lot of people are just going to have to sit down and go, how do I want to help this culture evolve in a very positive way?
There you go.
Because with VR, we are getting that toxic masculinity culture that gaming has.
Sure.
But
Do you know the way?
VR is such a powerful medium.
Yep.
If it can be used to help people with Alzheimer's, people with severe burns on their bodies. If you need it for like memory retention, it will help boost your memory between 15 to 30%.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know. I see VR and AR as it's akin to like the iPhone coming out, or like Facebook being invented, or YouTube being invented.
Sure.
I think that VR and AR is just going to completely change the world as we know it.
Yep.
And in 10 to 15 years, it's not going to look anything like what we know right now. You're not going to be putting headsets on and stuff like that.
Well, you just heard Topher say it himself out of his lips to your ears and to your faces watching at Studio110.live that it's a game changer. We already know it's a game changer, but by you guys being in here today with Aaron, my co-host on the tech side of the industry, it's something that you definitely need to be aware of. It's not something that you should be hiding around the curtain waiting for it to happen. It'll be at your doorstep here in a matter of moments. So, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then to flip the conversation real quick back to you to take over for this part, did you know that Eugene also owns and runs a fashion company?
I did not.
I have a fashion brand that will be launching in a few months called Chamber 01.
I like it.
I'm wearing...
Thank you for telling me, Aaron. I like it.
One of the mock-ups that we had made. Right now, we're just trying to figure out which designs are going to be part of our Phase 1 launch. And if you want to go see some of the designs that we have in progress right now, you can go to shopchamber01.com.
Give that address out again.
Shopchamber01.com.
Hey, what's the parent company of the T-shirt company?
You mean Studio Capon,
Oh,
the company we had to start because we got season 3 and we needed a place to put the money?
Yeah, basically.
Well, maybe I can purchase. I'm going to go on that website and maybe I'll purchase a T-shirt, and maybe the next batch of product that comes out off the press, we can do a little. We can do something special on the show. Maybe we can do some giveaways on the show, and maybe we could have like an official launch, little like 20-minute launch party here live on the air, and
That would be awesome.
You can invite some of your crew members down here, and you can put it all over your social. That Studio110.live literally is the only show to listen to in the city of Seattle, if not, domestically and internationally, because that's a proven fact. So, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to have VR versions of your designs?
We are talking to High Fidelity about that.
They have an avatar store.
Yeah, so if you buy a real shirt, this is what we want to do. If you buy a copy of the real shirt, your avatar in high fidelity can get a digital copy of it.
See, Eugene, that's the brain speaking right there. That's the brain speaking and understanding how evolving the fashion business is, and offering something that not a lot of the other t-shirt clothing brands are offering.
I don't think anybody else offers that.
It's the next evolution of
VR
VLC,
fashion.
man.
You know, well, the first VR. You might be the first VR fashion brand in Seattle.
I will take that title.
It might be the first one in the world, actually. I haven't heard about another VR fashion brand. Have you?
There's got to be something, at least from like.
We might be the first ones in the Avatar stores on High Fidelity, though.
Oh,
we might be able to get ourselves in there.
I'm sure like Second Life had something along that line.
Yeah, there were all kinds of contributors there. Yeah.
Yeah, just it wasn't in VR yet.
We're just determined to be the first at literally everything in VR.
There you go, and you should be. You should have that. You should have that. That old school New York business hustle that you just want to dominate and not take any no's for answers and just come out screaming.
Yeah,
literally
if
come
it's
out.
day one on the internet, it's minute one with VR.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. I don't know if you knew this, but we actually had the first in VR rap battle on our show.
This is true.
Well, when next time you guys come in, we're going to premiere that.
Sounds good.
We'll premiere that, and we'll premiere maybe some upcoming T-shirts. Maybe we'll give away some T-shirts. There's a lot to talk about. Any shout-outs that you guys want to give to anybody listening to the big program right now at Studio110.live?
Hey, we want to give a shout-out to our manager, Tavis Hamilton.
Shout out to
our
Tavis.
sponsorship gal, Suni.
Sumi, there you go. Maybe they'll come in next time, too.
I want to give a shout out to my awesome wife. She's actually watching right now.
Good.
And,
I like your hat, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I like the hat. Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted.
Hey,
to do.
can you give a shout-out to my awesome other half?
Yeah, give a shout out to his awesome other half, Yao. She's also probably watching. So.
Aaron, do you have any shout-outs?
Yao.
I mean, you're a
I'm
regular.
good.
Okay. I didn't know if Aaron had any shout-outs. I don't want to leave my tech co-host out of the way. So I want to shout out all my guests that were in here today. Abigail and, of course, Maureen. They're outside in the studio waiting for me in the green room to take some pictures. We're going to start doing the after-show patio video here outside of our studios. One more opportunity for people to put it on their social platforms, talking about the fun experience they had here on the brand new show. And all I'll say is tomorrow, we have a big announcement tomorrow from one of our guests, launching something on an international platform. And then we have a very special guest who happens to be a friend of mine. And I'm not going to give any other, I'm not going to give any details away.
Is it that friend?
It is. It's that friend.
Yeah. All right.
So we
I like the way your face just lit up.
Yeah. So Aaron, will it be one of those nights tonight, Aaron, that you might get 10 minutes of sleep because you're going to be so excited for 1 o'clock tomorrow?
I was not aware that was happening tomorrow, and I'll rearrange my schedule.
Absolutely. And I think you guys can probably back me up. I mean, I don't know the last live interview that you guys have done, but I would think that hopefully this, is at the top of the charts.
This is pretty great.
This is pretty great.
You guys, you probably weren't. It doesn't seem like you guys were bored today, and we had some fun, and because we're not in the business here of conducting boring radio. We're in the business here of entertaining our visual and audio presentation at Studio 110.live. I want to thank you both, Eugene and my old buddy here from the radio days, coming by today. I hope we'll get you back in here again in the near future. And once again, shouting out all my friends listening here locally in Washington State, but around the country and even internationally. We will be back at you through your speakers and through your audio presentations, wherever you're watching us on Twitch or YouTube or whatever metrics that you guys are choosing to watch Studio 110. We'll be back at you tomorrow, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. My brand new show, Dirty Harry, back at it. Let's go. Have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow.